What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, OM Fishing. Today is 420, so happy 420 to everybody out there. And you know what else today is? It is Tackle Tuesday. So basically, in a nutshell, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the things that I've been learning over my last few fishing trips, what's worked, what doesn't work, what I use, why I use it, and why I don't use what maybe some other people out there use. First things first, no, I am not a pro. No, I am not a know-it-all guru. No, I am not here to educate the masses. I just like talking about baits. I love to fish. And if that's something you're into, remember, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and whatever comments you may have, feel free to drop them below. Like, especially if it's something that teaches people or helps people catch more fish or even bigger fish. Look, I've got rods to re-rig, so let's just get into it. All right, so the last few times that I've been out fishing, probably the last 4 fishing trips, I've gotten super lucky, and I narrowed it all down to just one bait. No joke. Like, one bait. Everybody has a confidence bait, so I do as well. It is the culprit Fat Max at this point. Now, what is the culprit Fat Max? A lot of you guys probably know, some may not. It is a super thick, grubby worm. As you can see, it is a beast of a worm. It's one of the thickest worms on the market. Zoom has a version of it, but this is a two-tone worm right here. This is a pumpkin top, is green, and it's got a blue bottom, but the action of this bait is all right here in this tail. This tail will actually get a lot of attention, and I've landed multiple big fish recently off of this one bait, and it became my go-to confidence bait, the bait that I threw to scout, the bait that I tried to find most of the fish with, and I had to fish really slow, just with like a 3/8 weight on it, let it pop, hit the bottom, just skipping around the bottom until something bit it. Now, for the record, a lot of people were probably asking, well, is that all you throw? Is just that worm all day? No, that's not the case. I mean, as you can see behind me, I literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's another rod over there. So I have 8 rods. Now, the one that's over here is a medium fast action rod. It's good for crankbaits, lipless crankbaits. It's just, you know, wacky worm. And it's rigged up with fluorocarbon, and fluorocarbon is something I just practically refuse to throw down here in South Florida. And that's because down here in South Florida, there is just so much vegetation. Most of the areas that I end up fishing are like a huge pond of flats, lake of flats, basically. You got hydrilla, you got reeds, tules, lily pads, mats, just so much stuff. And I've learned the hard way over time that basically if I'm throwing fluorocarbon, I'm destined to get broken off. As a matter of fact, recently I went to a small lake, and twice in one day I thought I was throwing 40-pound braid, and it turns out that the rod that I had rigged up had 20-pound braided line on it.
Yep, just got broke off. That's the second time I've been broke off today on 40-pound braid.
And I got snapped off twice, and those hits were massive. They felt like linebackers coming out of the reeds, and it's like they smacked it, and then they turned, and as they turned, I was going to set the hook, and it literally snapped the line twice. Twice that happened. Big fish, big hits, and I missed them, and that's depressing. So what did I do? I re-rigged. All of these rods back here behind me are either 50-pound braid. One of the rods, this white one, I believe, is 60-pound braid, and the black one beside of it is 80-pound braid. So it sounds a little overzealous, but man, down here, it is no joke. If you're punching in some matting, I wouldn't even throw anything less than 80-pound braid. At bare minimum, 60, but I'd be even eerie of that. But let's get back to some of these baits. So like I was saying, I'm not always throwing just a worm. I mean, I have cases and cases of baits. You guys can see this is already rigged up. Most of you probably know what this is, but for those that don't, this is a spook bait. It is a rattle topwater bait. It makes a whole lot of noise, very colorful, and I throw this often, and to this date, I've only had this bait for maybe 3 weeks. It hasn't been hit, not once. So this is one of the baits that is currently on a medium heavy rod with a 15-pound drag reel. I think it's an Abu Garcia Black Max 641, but I'll probably be taking this off, and I'm either going to go with, well, this is fun treble hook city, buddy. There we go. I might go back with maybe a whopper plopper here. And if those that don't know what a whopper plopper is, when you run it through the water, this thing spins and makes a whole lot of water sound. It's just basically a propeller, but I think this is a 130. I'm thinking about going with that. Maybe, if not, I will go with something a little smaller, like this gulper, this old chugger right here, chugger bass. This is a beautiful bait. I think this is a mega bass bait, and it's got the little feather on the back. So I'm thinking about trying something different, but keeping that one top water. Not really sure, but it's going to be between these two. If not, there it is. I found it. Again, you gotta. So this is the smaller whopper plopper here. So maybe the smaller whopper plopper, but you know the saying, big bait, big fish. So I tend to throw the bigger bait versus the smaller bait just for that reason. Before I move on to the next one, this is what I went with right here for this rod. Just wanted to show you guys that. I went with the Megabass Gulper. Now this thing has got some vented on the side, so I imagine water ejects from the sides as you're pulling this thing out. But I love that it's a matte color that is replicating a bass type of bait. And that's the one that I decided to go with that had the spook on it. Now we can move on. Then I get to rods like this one where I'm just a little bit confused because this is a beast. This is the 13 Fishing Defy Black. It is 8 foot. It is extra heavy. This thing can literally pull the bass and the entire mat to the boat. You don't have to go in after it with 80-pound braid. That's no joke. I've done it. It's either punching or it's big swim baits like this. You can see right here, this is bigger than your hand. This is a massive, massive swim bait. It's got like a 9/0 hook on it, bro. This thing is no joke. Question, answer. No, I've never had a bite. I've never hooked a fish on it. But I'm hoping that one day soon, maybe that will change. Another bait that I tend to throw on this rod a lot is a Megabass. I think it's called an I-30. This thing's about 6, maybe 6.5 inches long. It's an awesome, awesome bait. Now, unlike this bait, I've had smashers hit this bait. Smashers, like 6-7 pounders. And it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. It's a slow sinking bait. So you can literally throw this thing out there. You don't have to retrieve it too fast. It's going to swim in an S pattern. You can even give it a couple twitches. You can even give it twitches just by doing half turns, like half turn pause, half turn pause, half turn pause. And this thing's doing its own action. If something's in the area, maybe a bedfish or something just lurking by the reeds or even the bank, this thing will attract some fish, and it is so much fun to watch it get hammered. Right now, you can go on Instagram, and you can find tons of guys that are producing some really killer swim baits, some really big baits. It started out in California. A lot of guys were going out to the Delta, and they were throwing things this big and bigger, and they're catching huge fish. You might not get as many bites, but the bites that you do get, more than likely, will be top shelf quality. But be sure to check it out. Just go to Instagram, type in swim baits. You'll see it's like a big movement, man. Some of these guys are making some really incredible baits. And I see a few out there that I'm just like, man, I want to buy them so bad. But anyway, let's get back to what I'm doing over here. Another topwater bait that I'm known to throw a lot is on this. This is another 8-foot rod, I think. Nope, 7.6 power heavy, action fast, 65-pound braid. This is a Megabass Eye Loud. One thing I will say about Megabass is that all of their baits are just gorgeous. They look like they're hand custom painted baits. They don't look mass produced. They look like they're worth the money you pay for them. And this thing is no exception. On the back, you have a propeller, so it's like a prop bait. You have really good hooks, treble hooks on there. You've got this thing on the front here, which is like a square bill, but it's kind of like at a vertical position. So this is a full-blown topwater bait. It also has kind of like a glide bait swim action to it. This thing is extremely angry. When you bring this through the water, this thing looks crazy aggressive. I hate to say it, I haven't gotten a fish on it yet. And I haven't thrown it probably as much as I should have because I end up with my confidence bait. But hopefully that changes and I can get out there on some driller patches and grab a smasher on this. Like, I mean, it rattles. It's pissed. It comes through there real heavy, and hopefully I get bit soon. I mean, I don't even think I'm taking this off of this rod at this point. I'm going to leave this combo here together because I know that when this gets hit, is going to be something that gets my heart racing. So we're going to leave that together. You know, something I wanted to mention right quick, too, is that here in Florida, South Florida where I'm at, black and blue is king. Chances are everybody right now this out on the Okeechobee is throwing June bug, which is this color for this culprit Fat Max, or they're throwing black and blue jigs or whatever the case is. However, I just want to make one quick point. This is called Okeechobee. I know I didn't mention that earlier, but this culprit Fat Max, the color is called Okeechobee, just for those that might want to know. If the water's dirty, you might want to try something different, something with some red in it. Now, I was fishing with a buddy of mine, and he was throwing red rattle traps, like these 3 right here that you see, and he was absolutely killing it, to the point that I went out and bought all these when I saw the results of what red produced. So don't get stuck in that one gear where it's like, well, we only throw black and blue. Don't get stuck in that one dimension. On to another rod that I throw often. This is a 711 heavy fast action rod from Savage Gear, teamed up with an Abu Garcia Revo S. This thing is a monster too. I'm pretty sure I have 50-pound braid on this. And I'm currently throwing a chatterbait on this particular rod here. A lot of guys like to throw spinner baits or even you know, buzz baits or whatever the case is. Now, most of the spinner baits or buzz baits that I've seen down here for sale, they don't have what this has, and not that I've seen. Not saying I won't throw. I'm not racist to chatterbait. I'm not racist to buzz bait, but this particular bait right here, as you can see, it's got a weed guard that helps it come through some of the vegetation down here. Because like I was saying before, in Florida, you've got tons and tons and tons of vegetation. So if this didn't have this weed guard on it and I was just throwing an open hook, oh my gosh, man, the heartache, the agony, the anxiety from constantly having to get it out of vegetation would just be mind-numbing. Now, with this particular bait, I'm thinking about changing it out. And I've got 3 other rods back here that I have to rig. So the question is what do I go back with? So the rod I was just showing you guys, I just took this off. I am going to replace it. Beautiful colors on this chatterbait here. And of course, it's got the pumpkin seed crawler trailer, but thinking about going black and blue. But literally, I was just talking about that. Like, don't feel like you have to do that when you could do something like this. You could throw like a 6 cents swim jig with like a purpley June buggy, but like red, kind of weird violet. I don't know. It's very catchy looking, right? So like maybe I'll throw this on and try this, and then if I'm on the water, I can literally just switch out to black and blue and see if I pick up any luck off of that. Not sure. Then I do have a white chatterbait here. That's what I'm saying. Too many decisions. This is a problem right here. Look, I've got another great looking swim bait with a 13 fishing crawl on the back, right? Like, what do you do, dude? What do you do? It's a tough one. I'll keep you posted on that. All right, no need to keep you guys waiting. I decided to go with the black and blue chatterbait here, and I'm going to rig this up with a double cinch knot. So basically, I've pulled it through once. Now I am going to go through the loop again, pull it back up, and if I don't get my shit jammed in there we go. So basically, it's a cinch knot, but it's not the singular cinch knot. It's a double cinch knot. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll do 6 for good measure. Pull your tag end up, Getting caught up in the skirt here. Make sure you wet it. Then I just pull the other end there, starting to come down. Cinched in. That's a double cinch knot there. It's a really, really strong knot. Now, I do use Palomar knot and other knots, but just wanted to show you that. So like I was saying, I have 3 rods that I have to rig. 2 are going to be simple. Definitely going back with my confident baits. These are my scouts. This is, I use these 2 in combination together. So the culprit worm will probably go on a different rod, not this one. But the Gambler, Big Easy, 5.25, so 5 1/4 inches long, paddle tail swim bait will go on this rod here. I just took off some spider wire and went back with power line. I like this stuff way better. Plus, this is 50-pound braid. But I can turn this bait into the most versatile bait you've ever seen. I can make it do top water. I can even turn it into a fluke. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you watch me swim this thing in the water, I can do certain patterns with it where I turn it into the pattern of a jerk bait. I can also give it a fall ratio where it has like that wacky worm kind of feel, not as, you know, gracious as the wacky worm. Anyway, all I'm saying is, dude, this is another go-to. So that's going on this rod. At least one more rod, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to put on that rod. Maybe you guys could drop what you think I should put on that rod down in the comments and let me know. And if I don't rig it up this time, maybe I'll rig it up next time. But let's see what we end up with. I'm gonna rig these 2 rods and then we'll figure that out. A lot of my buddies asked me about this, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. I don't know if you can see that little bead right there. You can get them in Bass Pro or whatever, but a lot of times when I'm fishing with people, they ask me, they're like, what's up with that bead, right? So I put like a bobber stopper here, then I put the bead, then I take like a small tungsten weight, I think this is maybe 3/8, and put that on there. And then of course, you know, I put my hook and the worm or whatever I'm throwing, but the bead is basically, it gives it a splash of color and it makes it look like the bait is literally chasing bait. So usually when bass see things being aggressive around them, they tend to smash. That's the whole concept anyway. Last rod to rig up, and I have no idea what I want to put on it. I'm over here looking at some lipless cranks, some square bills, jerk baits. Oh my gosh, dude, I don't even know. What should I do? Topwater frog. That could be fun. But that's only for certain times of the day. You know what? Listen, guys, I don't even want to bore you with this because, like, I'm going to probably sit here way longer than you're willing to give me to figure out what I'm going to throw. Again, drop it down in the comments what you think I should throw on this last rod right here. Maybe end up with a crankbait on it. It's a good possibility. The options are endless, and I just need some time to really soul search it out, man. Anyways, look, you guys have an awesome day. I hope you get out there and start chasing some biggins. I'm personally on a quest to get out there and smash biggins. I need to break double digits. I also need to hit 1,000 subscribers so that I can actually go live on this channel. So with that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, an amazing week. Be sure to hit the red button, turn it gray, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications and join me on the quest for biggins. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.